What's up guys, it's the Sound Alchemist, and today I'm bringing you more lore on the Warhammer 40k universe. This time, I am back at it again, bringing you the lore on the vehicles of the 40k races. This time, it is the vehicles of the epic Space Marines. But today, I will just be focusing on the tanks of the Space Marines. So you got like your Rhinos, your Stalkers, Land Raiders, etc. So without further ado, let's get into this armored lore. The Space Marine transport, the Rhino. Amid blossoming explosions and rattling volleys of fire, the Rhino APC plows dauntlessly across the battlefield. Enemy fire sparks from its armored hull, answered by barking volleys from the Rhino's own Stormbolter. The Rhino's driver pushes his machine hard, knowing that the redoubtable transport is simple and its rugged systems can easily be repaired without the aid of a tech marine. Inside, the Battle Brothers ready themselves for combat, offering thanks to the Rhino's machine spirit, with every jarring jolt of shots rebounding from the tank's hull. The Rhino's hatches slam open, and from within storms of a full squad of Adeptus Astartes, unscathed by their passage across no man's land, and ready to bring the wrath of the Emperor to their foes. The Razorback. The Razorback rolls into battle with its weapons charged and ready to fire. It is determined to slam through obstacles and over wreckage, keeping pace with the Adeptus Astartes' advance. Meanwhile, inside the vehicle's transport bay, its passengers ready themselves for the battle ahead. At first sight of the enemy, the Razorback's turret lights with fury. Last cannon beams or salvo of bolt shells rip across the battlefield. Skidding to a halt, the tank disgorges its passengers into combat, armored warriors pounding into the battle beneath the ferocious covering fire of their transport's weaponry. As one, transport and passengers take fight to the foe. Their potent combination of anti-infantry and anti-tank hunting firepower swiftly tears the enemy to shreds. The Predator. Rumbling through smoke and flame, the Predator tank hunts its prey. It is an adamantium beast, as it stalks across ruined worlds and through tangled wilderness, its guns tracking across the horizon. A swift and brutal fighting vehicle, the Predator provides the Space Marines with prodigious amounts of fire support. The tank's heavy bolters and autocannons are the bane of infantry and light vehicles, while the Annihilator variant spells doom to any armored enemy. There are few things that could stand before the combined might of a Predator Assassin Squadron, a trio of Predators. Their Space Marine gunners creating interlocking kill zones to bring down massive Xenos creatures, or slab-sided war machines in a focused barrage of cannon fire. The Whirlwind. It fills the sky with successive volleys of highly explosive missiles that hammer the foe with staggering force, leaving masses of enemy infantry scattered and shell-shocked. Thanks to their complex auger arrays and servitor-assisted targeting cogitators, Whirlwinds are able to repeated strikes against their targets, even should they be veiled in darkness or concealed within a static defense. Whenever these long-ranged artillery tanks bring their weapons to bear, lethal warheads scream down from the sky in the dozens, each one impacting the force of a meteor. Those caught in the open, such a bombardment that is outright a death sentence, as whole swaths of enemy troops vanish amid the fury of multiple blasts. The Vindicator. The thunder of a Vindicator squadron opening fire is truly an apocalyptic sound. As each cannon lets fly, the very air vibrates with the report of its fury. Yet this is nothing to the canopy of destruction that accompanies their ammunition's earth-shaking impact. As each of the siege tank's shells slam home, it explodes with enormous force. Barricades are blown sky high, and fortress walls reduce so much to rubble in an instant. Enemies caught at the heart of the blast simply cease to exist, obliterated utterly by the Vindicator's fury. By then, the tanks are already advancing, enemy fire ricocheting off their siege seals as their autoloaders cycle, and their monstrous demolisher cannons prepare to once again lay waste to the enemy. The Hunter. From out of its massive turreted warhead chamber, the Hunter sends Sky Spear missiles thundering into the heavens. Emitting a piercing scream as it tears across the firmament, each of these sacred rounds seek out the skyborne foes of the Emperor. Entombed in the heart of each missile, a servitor savant guides the ordnance to its foe. Even if the missile flies wide of its mark, the hard-wired savant will set it back to course. The missile continues to relentlessly track its prey, trembling and twisting through the air in a blossoming cloud of fire until it connects, rendering its target into nothing more than a shower of blazing shrapnel. The Hunter is often deployed to destroy heavy flyers or to defend an area from aerial bombardment, ensuring that no foe is beyond the reach of the Space Marine's wrath. Stalkers. The Stalker's Icarus storm cannon array fills the sky with sustained anti-aircraft fire. Lightly armored targets are peppered with rounds, their hulls buckling and breaking under the onslaught, while even heavy flyers cannot carry long in this hostile environment. The paired cannons are guided by a servitor conclave, and under their control the Stalker can swiftly track multiple targets or focus its gun on a single foe for devastating effect. Squadrons of Stalkers become more effective still, losing a rolling storm of explosive ordnance that pulverizes anything foolish enough to attempt to fly through it. The Stalkers obliterate all enemy aircraft, protecting the Space Marines on the ground from aerial assault, and ensuring that the skies above, as well as the battlefield below, is dominated by the Adeptus Astartes. The Land Raider. The ground trembles, and enemies flee in fear as the mighty Land Raider advances into battle. Massively armored and all but unstoppable, this noble war engine smashes through walls and grinds over wreckage while drumming volley after volley of fire into the foe. Beams of incandescent energy slam into enemy tanks, knifing through their armored hulls and reducing them to blazing fireballs. Thudding bolt shells punch into the flesh of the foe before detonating in shocking sprays of gore. The kill count climbs with each passing moment as the Land Raider advances across the war zone, especially once the tank's assault ramp slams down and its Adeptus Astartes charge out to add to the carnage. The Land Raider Crusader. Packed with Adeptus Astartes warriors eager to shed the blood of the foe, this variant of the Land Raider breaches the enemy's barricades with a hurricane bolter blazing. Should an armored target or fortified position bar the Crusader's pass, its multi-melta hisses to life, swiftly blasting the obstacle into glowing slag. Only once it had punched its way into the press of combat does the Land Raider Crusader debark its passengers, the Space Marines charging forward behind in a barrage of whistling shrapnel from the tank's frag assault launchers, hull sparking as enemy fire rebounds harmlessly from its thick armored plates. The Crusader continues to rack the foe with fire, supporting the disembarked Space Marines as they wreak havoc amongst enemy lines. And finally, we come to the Land Raider Redeemer. The Land Raider Redeemer rumbles through the devastated cities of the foe, seeking out the enemies lurking in the crumbling buildings. Rubble skitters and tumbles as the tank rolls closer, its auger banks sweeping the ruins in search of targets. When the Redeemer comes within range, its forward-mounted assault cannons roar, rounds blasting enemy defenses to wreckage. Then, like a dragon unleashing its burning breath, the Redeemer's flamestorm cannons send out a rolling sheet of fire. Heat, intense enough to melt stone, turns men into clouds of ash, and even heavily armored enemies are turned into pillars of screaming flame. Finally, the Redeemer's assault ramp descends, and its deadly cargo spills forth to deal with anyone unfortunate enough to have survived the fearsome barrage of firepower. And that brings us to the end of this video. Don't worry guys, I only went through the codex-specific vehicles of the Space Marines, so there will be other parts. We still have got the flyers, the jet bikes, the regular bikes, we've got Forge World vehicles, so there is still a lot of Space Marine vehicles to go through. So why not hit that subscribe button and the notification button so you guys can be alerted whenever we put out videos. Now, we put out videos every day, so it's not a surprise if you keep getting notifications, guys. So thank you guys for being awesome. Let me know which one of these vehicles you cannot play a game without. Is it the trusty Rhino, or perhaps the awesome bulky Land Raider? In my opinion, I always like Predators. They look intimidating. They got that big cannon. I just like the way they look. So let me know, what is the one vehicle that you cannot play a game without? And also, thank you guys for being awesome subscribers. Thank you for getting us to 50k, and we're basically almost to 60k. So that means giveaway time. So keep on sharing, liking, and subscribing. As always, I am the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I am signing out.